Welcome to Marriage Monday on a Tuesday.
Oh, that was a fast one. Welcome to Marriage Monday on a Tuesday.
What's up, guys? We are here. Thank you for everybody who is watching and watches these and comments and finds us and messages us and emails us. Y'all are encouraging.
Yeah.
We're here for you. And,
we are.
We hope that these are rewarding for you. It is hot in
It is so hot.
Yeah.
But I love it. I love the heat. But even in this room right now, for some reason, the air is just not blowing in here.
I feel like our air conditioning has not turned off in days.
Yeah. So, but that's honestly, here in Pittsburgh, we love that. Well, I love that because it's been really cold and rainy for months, you guys. I feel like, honestly, we've had like a 10-month winter. That's what I feel like.
It feels like a 10-month winter. It has been. So we did have our summer bash, which is like a church thing. A thing we do with our church for the community every year. And it was the coldest May 31st in the history of Pennsylvania, I think it was, or Pittsburgh.
Or like
100 plus years.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was astronomical.
It was really cold, y'all. But it was still awesome.
But whatever. We're here, man. We're making it happen.
But we're here. And today, what we want to talk to you about is...
So the last couple weeks, we have had a lot going on. And we understand that life happens. And so we try our best to continue to serve in our giftings and in our passions, from ministry to just life to, Marriage Monday on a Tuesday podcast. We really try to keep giving out of who we are for things like that. But sometimes things get a little crazy, and the last few weeks have been a lot of those crazy things. So we actually thought it would be cool to do an episode on how to support one another we're going to talk about when the crap hits the fan, but ultimately a lot of what we're going to talk about today really revolves around family dynamics. And so like her mom had a situation, my stepdad had some medical situations, pastors in our lives had some medical situations. We are facing, if you guys know anything, if you watch our services or if you're a part of my life, my back has been dealing with some major back problems, and really from a lifetime of ill posture and aggressive skating and things like that. So I've been dealing with that, and then she's been dealing with, we've been dealing with our fertility journey. So there's just a lot. And it all has kind of come to a head over the last 3 or 4 weeks. Really, to be honest, probably more than we can handle. And if it wasn't for our community and our family and our church, a lot of it would probably, could be detrimental for us. And so we just want to talk about how we navigate some of that stuff.
And I think one thing that we've really learned is how important this is, right? That's why we talk to you guys every week when we're able to, is because this is the most important relationship other than our relationship with the Lord. And when we are together, we can truly get through anything together. When we're in unity, we can get through anything together. So yeah, we wanted to talk about the unexpected things, the inconveniencing things. What do you do? Because those are happening in your life. And what do you do? How do you keep this the number one? How do you support one another in those times?
Yeah, and how do you show concern, care, empathy, value? I know when your dad died, it hurt me for your whole family, for you. I was hurt for you. But I didn't really know how to be there, and knowing that there was underlying issues that had happened over the years. It was kind of I remember in that season, I'm well, how much longer did we know he would live for? And, did these, there was just all these things that were kind of well, that sucks, but we got stuff to do. And I think a lot of times when we hear about families, people talk about how oh, I can't stand her mom, or I don't like her dad, or I can't stand his brother or his friends. And what we do is we actually kind of put a wedge between our marriage by allowing our siblings, our parents, extended family, friends, relationships, whatever, to get between them. And we really need to remove, and I would tell you to put this, I think Leanne's watching. What's up, Leanne? Ashante's on.
Ashante.
Put this in the comments if you're watching. Remove the wedge. Like literally identify the wedges in your marriage. Now, some of the wedges might need to become props. Like ministry can either be a wedge between us, or it can be a prop to prop us up, and we can learn to use it. But sometimes you have to remove something for a while if it's a wedge before you can repurpose it as a prop. Yeah, that's a whole other story. So go ahead.
That could be like a next week thing.
Yeah.
Just as we are navigating our life, going through all the things of life.
Yeah, and we're not boo-hooing.
We're just being real with you guys. Like we just want to be honest with you, right?
So how do we be here? We've learned, like, wow, I guess what we're trying to say is there's been times where it was like, hey, that's your family, that's your family. And it's not like that, and it hasn't been like that for a long time. And it was never intended to be that way. But I think when you first get married, it's easy for that to kind of be the norm. And if you don't pay attention to it, it will stay the norm. I think you and I blended our families intentionally, biblically. We understood where they needed to be and where we needed to be. So I think we got a good grasp on this to teach it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, as we were just talking about this, I think the number one thing, right, is that we both are staying consistent and steady in our relationships with God. And Hebrews 12:2, fix your eyes on Jesus. Yeah. So number one is no matter what is happening around us, we have to constantly keep our vision in check, like that we are both in unity, looking towards Jesus, looking towards the Lord and everything. So one thing that we do that really helps us in that is we will pray together over situations. We will grab hands whenever something's happening in our family or someone's sick, we need, healing, whatever it is, and we will pray together with each other. Now, I don't know about you guys. Sometimes that's been awkward for some reason.
It's still awkward.
Sometimes it is still
like real talk, good, bad, or indifferent. We don't pray specifically together, like regularly.
On every single day, right? We have our own prayer time and we discuss what we're praying about. But there's a lot of times where you really do have to just grab hands, and you gotta pray out loud together. Sometimes somebody may have more faith in that area and they need to lead that. They need to lead that prayer. And you've done that for us a lot. And I've done that for you sometimes. Yeah. So it's because it's speaking faith into your spouse and into your marriage together. And it's important and it's so powerful.
Yeah, and you have to we stand by this. You have to build boundaries. So part of us being able to lean in during times of tragedy and struggle, and we've seen a lot of that. There's been a lot of tragedy and struggle in our life, a lot over the last 4 weeks, and not as once again we all go through seasons, but we just have had a conglomerate of it lately. But I think one of the reasons why we can talk about it right now, even in the middle of a lot of it, is we created boundaries a long time ago. And boundaries are places that our family knows, hey, it's Monday. Nick and Nikki are going to be, we are not remote. We are available to our friends, our family, our loved ones. We just try not to necessarily be about anybody else, but spending time with God and with each other on Mondays. That's really our main focus, and sometimes that changes with emergencies, hospital visits, funerals, very, very important meetings that might happen. And it's a rarity, but our boundaries have put us in a place where when tragedy, struggle, situations come up, people now know our boundaries. And so they're not trying to change our convictions and our standards. In fact, if anything, I think our boundaries have helped people know when and where to call on us versus just so easily pulling on us. And you have to be careful, because in your family, for instance, if you're the one who has always helped, you may want to keep doing that, but not realizing that let me rephrase that. When your extended family is used to calling you and reaching out to you, and now you're married and now you have kids, now you might have grandkids, you might have a job and a business. The you when you were 15 or 20 or 25 that could do that easily without sacrificing much except for maybe just some of your time, now you're sacrificing you could be sacrificing your marriage, your kids, your business, your equity, because you haven't developed those boundaries. And people will not value anything more than you value it in your life. They never will. It would be very rare if you ever find someone, and more than likely that person would be like a mentor or a coach who goes, hey, you need to go home. I have need of you, but your family needs you more. Yeah. And I know I try very diligently to do that with our team when I see them doing or giving too much. I'm like, please go home. Please shut it down. You need to go be home. You need to Sabbath. You need to rest. You need to heal, whatever. And I think that that's been a benefit in this season of our life is our family. Like even Jack, he's like, hey, it's Monday. Don't come down here. We're like, no, we're going to come see you. But yes, you're right. We're not staying long.
Yeah.
He was my stepdad was in the hospital.
Yeah. Well, I can give another point.
Yeah, please. Yeah, so that was 2 for me, if you want to call it 2, is have boundaries. And I was just telling someone I love dearly yesterday, read the book if you haven't read it, Boundaries by Henry Cloud and John Townsend. If you're married, you can double up and read Boundaries in Marriage. It'll really help you, I promise.
Yes. Okay.
What?
Huh? I don't know. Okay.
So good.
I've been being so weird today. Oh,
Shante said your makeup is popping.
Oh,
One of my pastors is on. Pastor Scotty's watching. Pastor Scotty, we love you, man. Good to see you.
This one is really important, I think, to keep peace in your home and to keep peace within your marriage when things get crazy.
Protect your peace.
Protect your peace. And it is be gracious to each other when you know things are tense.
Yeah, that's good. So with my back pain, for instance, one of my mentors, I was telling them about how bad my back has been hurting, like 6, 7, 8, really 8, 9, 10 on a daily basis. It's coming down, praise God, but it's also been a lot of workouts. Nikki and I have been working, like she's been going to the gym with me. I was going to the gym. She started coming with me, which has been neat. We used to not be able to work out together. I'm enjoying you. That was one of my boundaries, was like keeping her away from me at the gym. Now I kind of like it. But I was talking to one of my mentors who had a hip surgery. And I said, hey, like I'm really noticing that right now with a lot of the stress that we're navigating and the physical pain, it's making me a little bit irritated. And I'm a little irritable in my marriage in a way I don't necessarily like. And it was really refreshing because the person who was talking to us, talking to me at the time, is respected by both of us. And he said, you know, it's funny, after I got my hip surgery, I was renewed when I came home from my hip surgery and it was healed. I was renewed in my heart to realize, wow, I still like my wife. And he was telling me that when he was dealing with constant pain, he noticed he was being irritable as well. Yeah. And he's a very patient individual. That doesn't give you permission, but I think it's awesome what you said.
Yeah, I mean, you have to learn your spouse, and you've got to know, like, if they're acting in a certain way, or maybe you see a pattern. Maybe you see a pattern in your life when stress happens, and then you see your spouse acting a certain way. A lot of times we can take that personally, and we can retaliate on that. We can react instead of trying to, realize, hey, what is going on? Why are they acting like this? Yeah. Now, again, it's not an excuse, like you just said. It's not an excuse or to have a certain behavior and be like, well, that, I'm going through this so I can be this way. No, but it's something for you as the spouse, that if you notice that and you know that there are things going on, be gracious, right? Yeah. And one thing that you can do is asking one another, like, hey, are you okay?
Yeah,
it's a very easy question. But
I love what you said. Are you okay? Not what's wrong with you.
Yeah.
Because what's wrong with you
can be kind of like
a slap.
It is.
What you mean? What's wrong? Nothing
makes
wrong.
Me mad.
Don't you know I'm in pain? Don't you know I'm on my period? Don't you know I got a back? I got a kidney stone. Whatever it is, right?
Yeah, but if you know, like,
hey, are you okay?
Like, hey, are you okay?
I'm noticing you're irritated.
Yeah, or what are you feeling about everything going on? Yeah. Sometimes I'll ask questions to Nick that I already pretty much in my head. I'm like, I know why he's saying that. I know why he's thinking that. But the goal is that you get each other to communicate with one another. You want to be able to talk. You want to be able to open up so that way those wedges that you were talking about don't start forming in between you. Because that's how a lot of those wedges start happening is you have this stuff, you're holding it in, and it can become a wedge instead of, a stepping stone for you in your marriage.
Why would we ever want that person that we spent all that time, all that planning, all that money, all those years, all those minutes, all those memories, all those Facebook photos, all those Instagram reels, why would you want to not work to protect that?
Yeah.
Because they pissed you off a little bit. Actually, one of my mentors, I remember, he was constantly feeling this stress and would just blow up. And then we went and took him to the doctor one day over a different situation. We went when we checked in and they were like, dude, your blood pressure's through the roof. And his blood sugar was off. And the doctors were like, have you been irritable? And they were like, yeah. I realized, dude, this was a physical issue. And to not be gracious on that when it's like, and I'm grateful. In 15 years, I think it took 14 to kind of learn your cycle. And all of a sudden, I happened last week. I was like, and you were like, I'll kill you.
I'll cut you. Don't even say that.
But I realized, wow, she's about to start her period. Yeah. And guys, that's a reality. And isn't an excuse? No, it's not an excuse. And my wife look, she's awesome. She does it. She handles well. But there are things that are pulling on the sails of your emotions. There are winds that are tugging at you that you have to learn to shift your direction when they're pulling you the wrong direction. Right. And I love what you're saying, be gracious.
Be gracious.
When your mom was going through stuff, you were out on vacation to visit your brother and see our new little niece, who's adorable, and to see your brother and his girlfriend. They're going to be getting married soon. But something happened, and I said, you cannot let this family situation take away from your intention and your purpose of your trip. And so I got on the phone with you, your brother, and Madeline. I don't know why. I
think you're getting Adeline.
I almost said Maybelline. I don't know.
Maybelline.
I think it's because you just washed your hair. Maybe it's Maybelline.
Oh,
Madeline, who's the sweetest girl on the face of the earth. I cannot wait for her to be a part of our family. Well, she is a part of our family. I can't wait for her to be legally a part of our family. But so sweet, such a sweet girl. And I got the three of them in my earshot. I was here, and I'm like, guys, protect while you're there. Protect your time together. We didn't bash your family. We didn't go into dialogue about the situation that was at hand. We didn't start, gossiping. No, hey, you guys are there to spend time together. Let's let that be the main thing. We'll pick up the pieces later. Right?
Yeah.
My dad being in the hospital has been very emotional. It's been a frustration. Losing my mom and then seeing him struggling physically has been very difficult, and it really was messing with my emotions. And I know that there was a part of me I had to be very intentional. And men, I really want to encourage you. You're going to have to be intentional to check in because we naturally come across as checked out. I think men are often misunderstood, and we look checked off. We come off as checked off. So when things are rough, you're going to have to be very intentional to check in.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was
but
thinking.
I think that's why it's helpful to ask each other.
Yeah, you're right.
When things are, you have to really look at the big picture.
So you said, hey, how are you feeling?
Like, are you okay?
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Or how about this? If you know, hey, here's something you said. Hey, I know it's really. It seems like it would really bother you that your dad's in the hospital right now. Would you like to talk about that?
Yeah. That's a good.
Is there anything you're afraid of? Hey, I know you're really bothered about this thing that happened in your family. Is there anything I can do to help you? Now, guys, I know some of y'all are listening to this, and you're like, oh my God, you're pandering to each other. No, we're not. We're serving one another. Thinking about, I was doing some research earlier as I was thinking about this. I was like, look how many times Jesus stopped, shifted his ministry course to serve and to care for the family of those who followed him. He cared about them. You know, you see Peter's mother-in-law got sick. Jesus goes to the house. We do see the whole story of Lazarus, but Jesus spoke to his family, spoke to his followers. Hey, I know. Do you believe he's in heaven though? Do you believe he's going to go to eternity? Do you believe? And then he comes and he serves them and raises him from the dead. I just think that like that in itself is beautiful. And I think that when we recognize the needs of our spouse, and can I just put it that way? I think we need to be careful that we miss that. We need to recognize the needs of our spouse.
That actually rolls into another point that is really helpful when you're going through crazy stuff and stuff starts hitting the fan, and it's to be more intimate than you feel.
Are we talking like sex?
Yeah.
Hey.
Well, sex and just like whatever that intimacy looks like for each other, because a lot of times when you got a lot of crazy stuff going on and like the inconvenience, the tragedies, things that hit your life, it can be easy to not feel like it could be easy to like not feel like being close together, right?
No, you're right. I mean, pain can shut you down.
But that's why we talk about too in a lot of these videos is like you got to have those date nights. You got to have those times where you're going to be intimate together, and make it happen. Like be more intimate than you actually feel, because it's going to bring you closer together when you're feeling apart, because you're feeling whatever you're going through may have a lot of your focus, and it's really important in a marriage that you're doing that.
Yeah, I like the way you just said that, because then it brought a word play up in my mind. Like when you're falling apart, you might be lied. Your feelings will lie to you that you're feeling apart. So, you got to guard that. You got to guard that and be, hey, things are falling apart out there, but not in here.
Yeah. Let's be close.
And reality is like, I love what you and I have talked about. We've seen a lot of people come and go from our life, literally die, leave. We've dealt with betrayal. We've dealt with people launching and going off to places, right? Praise God. But one thing you always say when we're just driving or spending, you're like, hey, look, at the end of the day, I have you and you have me. And so if everything's falling apart out there, don't let it fall apart in here.
Yeah.
The Bible tells us very clearly that God gave you a helpmate. And it's significant that we value that helpmate. And I think that that's where we fell a lot. I think we should do an episode on how do you really help as a mate. Because I think sometimes we don't even know of simple things that we can do. And I think you've really helped with that. So guys, the positive side is my stepdad's coming home from the hospital today. That's great. Family situation that happened with her has actually turned the family situation for good. Our fertility journey went from pause to play again. Based on some stuff that happened, and we don't really talk about it a lot because it doesn't really pertain to everybody, but it is a 10-year journey.
It's a long journey.
Yeah, and and things are well with us.
Maybe one day we'll share more on that too.
Yeah,
sometimes we do here and there, but
and so we've been working out. My 6-pack is coming back, which is good. It's healing my back. It's pulling my back forward. So a lot of the things we've been dealing with, if we would have let what was falling apart around us affect what was happening in us, then we wouldn't even be here to share what God is doing through us. And so that being said, guys, we hope that this helps you and encourages you. We'd love to hear your comments, questions. All you got to do is message us right there, email us, follow us on social, Instagram, YouTube, blah, 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 blah. Any thoughts?
No. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
Yep. Awesome. Hey, we love and appreciate you guys. Change your marriage this week. Change yourself this week. Get into the Word. Pray together. Pray for us. And thank you so much. We'll talk to y'all later.